This is Wake the F Up podcast.
F is for fabulous.
I'm Andy Dooley.
And I'm Kat Torres. Wake the F Up is all about celebrating the great drama of life, the beauty and the brutality, and
tapping into your true divinity, your creativity, because you are the universe pretending to be human.
It's fabulous. The whole idea is to get free, right?
Hello and welcome.
Greetings. Welcome to the present moment.
Yeah, welcome to Wake the F Up podcast with Dooley and Dawes.
F is for fabulous.
Can I get a namaste?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Namaste. Hello from Utah. Hello, Amy. I see the chat's active. Doolster?
Yeah, I'm excited. Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody else. If you want to say hello in the chat, you
let
can
us know
by
where
all
you're
means.
hailing from. Where art thou hailing from?
Where art thou?
Donna, hello. Cool. This is the first live that we've actually done. So this is like highly experimental and exciting, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, and I'm really excited for this. Our first one, we've had a couple test runs, and this one is all about reclaiming our divinity, going from, it's so easy to slip into being a victim of circumstances, victim mindset, and shifting ourselves into being the creator and being more deliberate about our thoughts, our focus, the stories we're telling ourselves, paying attention to our emotions.
Exactly. It's a exhilarating thing to be released from the idea that life is just happening to you, to then shift and lift to the perspective that it's actually happening through you. But I want to give you a warning here that once you truly understand this, then there's no turning back. Like, you actually cannot legitimately, comfortably be the victim any longer. So sorry. For those of you who are here, I'm sorry. You know too much now.
Yeah, I think we do. We're gonna manifest a. Well, it depends. We got people from Vancouver, BC, Australia, the United States, and I love what you said about life's not happening to you; it's happening through you. It's happening for you. It's a reflective mirror, and when you stop and realize it's just reflecting back what you're putting out, then it's like, oh, then I just need to change what I'm putting out. It's easier said than done, but today, Kat and I are going to give you some tools and processes. Kat's going to share some stuff with Nowism that'll help you change yourself, so then the reflection coming back to you is more of what you're wanting to see.
So good. And I can't wait to dive into this with you, Andy, because let's be honest, you are the manifesting king of all things nowness.
Yes, I do. I'm learning to graduate from that word manifestation. So something I knew I've been teaching my clients and in the Manifestors Cafe is it's not about manifesting. It's about mastering your state of being, which really helps you let go of I'm trying to manifest because it's a trap. And then you work on, okay, I got to master me. I got to master my thoughts, my state of being, my beliefs, my story, my habits. And when you start focusing on mastering your vibe, your output, your signature frequency, then that is going to change. That's going to make your manifestations effortless and easy.
It does. It sort of slips in the back door, right? It's like, and I'm the same, Andy, like in the game of Nowism these days, we're really like unhooking from the big like vision boards and the goal setting and this thing that we're trying to get to. And I'm going to manifest the things, like, and reeling it back into like, let the reward be how you feel in the present moment. Let the great mastery of this moment be actually the deliciousness that you're seeking. And when we pull the goals back into the present moment, something really delicious happens because you stop the ache to get the things that are up ahead, and you're just so busy having a nice time that then the manifestation starts slipping in through the back door, and you're like, oh my goodness, all my dreams are coming true. It's so fun.
Yes. And we've all experienced this, right? We've all had desires, and you guys in the chat box listening live, we love you, appreciate you. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday. You can join us. We'll be taking your questions soon. But back to what you were saying about like the desire, letting go of the thing and focus on the feeling and let the manifestations come in the back door. So in the chat box, and Kat, I know you've experienced this, where you want it, it hurts so bad, and you finally, whatever, circumstances change, and you're just like, forget it. I don't want any.
Yeah.
Like, just never mind. I got to go do this thing. And then all of a sudden, it shows up, and you're like, wait a minute, that was easy.
Oh, it's so radical, Andy, for the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. I've been really trying to work out, how do you teach surrender? Like, how do you actually teach surrender? Like, let's all rehearse surrendering. It's really interesting because you need life, really, you need the universe to give you a few bitch slaps before you really let go. And that's so often that's the process. Now, I have learned that you can, through cultivating more trust, you can actually teach yourself to let go. But man, rehearsing surrender, it's a bit of a paradox, it's like you sort of need a reason to really let go. And yeah, it's one of these things that it's a sweet spot in the manifestation space, in the vision space, to create deliberately. You really have to be able to surf the waves of the contrast, have your rockets of desires and let them delight you and drive you forwards, but also really just make peace here in the present moment and enjoy what's arising here and now. It's a funny one.
Yeah, surrendering. So how are you guys doing surrendering in the chat box if you're live? Because, of course, there's meditation, that helps you surrender. Well, and let's talk about the why. Why is surrendering so important, Kat?
Because without surrender, there is an ache. There is an ache and there is when we ache. In the game of Nowism, we call the ache the great kryptonite of manifestation. Like, if you have, and I know you know this of me, Andy, when I was early on in Nowism, I really, 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 really needed it to happen. And so there was this hunger in me, which was actually accidentally a broadcast of not having, ache. And so the universe is picking up on the ache, and it's really a bit of a trick situation in your energy, because the desires are actually beautiful because they are the evolutionary pull. The desires is what makes us step forward. It makes us invent things. It makes us creators. But the ache is actually a illusion in separation. It actually it keeps us held away from what we want. And so surrender is very necessary,
Yeah.
And we have a little joke in the game of Nowism, this is a warrant for your rest.
Oh, I love it.
Please let go, surrender and remember, because this is really it's the secret key piece for manifestation.
Yeah, I love those phrases. I love how Kat has created this amazing, very creative, genius way of playing time-space reality and coming back to the now, and her characters and her phrases as you what was that? Arrest? How'd you say that?
Yeah. This is a warrant for your rest.
A warrant for your rest. It is time for you to chill out, take a hot bath, let go of the stress, the resistance, the overthinking mind. How am I going to make it happen? When's it going to happen? Where's it going to happen? Well, how come it hasn't happened yet? Hasn't happened now? It's probably never going to happen. That's when you throw down the stop, cancel, clear, get the negative thinking, get the fear out of here, or get the F out of here.
Out of here. Get the fabulous more in here, but yeah.
Get the fabulous in here.
Yes.
Can you guys hear that? Stop. So when you catch yourself, what I call riding the bitch train, negative complaining, negative focus, and sometimes we just wake up and we don't mean it, but we get on the bitch train, and then like Kat was saying, we start to ache. We're aching, we're yearning. It's not happening. Hurry up. And when you find yourself in that, you can feel it. That's the thing. You can feel the ache. And sometimes we become numb to the ache. And that's why meditation is so great, and doing things that are fun, because then that way you're much more aware of when you start to ache or get annoyed or frustrated, like it fires much quicker. So...
Yeah, dropping the resistance.
Yeah,
right?
Dropping the resistance. Just last night, I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was getting kind of riled up a little bit, and I caught myself, and I was just like, I just took a breath, and I just dropped in. I was like, yeah, I was getting, Yeah, and he just smiled and said, "Hello." I was like, "Yeah, I'm back." It
Thank
was such a
goodness.
beautiful moment of surrender. I just let go of trying to make my point, and I could feel, I could feel it, and that's part of the whole
Yes.
thing about manifesting is being more in tune with what you're really feeling. So then when you're in alignment and out of alignment.
Pause for the applause. We've got Pauline's here from the Game of Nowism, and this is one of our reward systems. It's pause for the applause. Good job, Andy. Thank you for saving the present moment from unnecessary negativity.
See, I love that about Nowism and Kat. Like, it's such a fresh way to play this game of time, space, reality. Because backing up, I love how we just got into this call, but backing up for just a moment, and touching on, because some of you are just jumping in now, love you, appreciate you. This is called Wake the F Up, and F stands for what?
Fabulous.
Yeah. And so Kat and I are both in agreement with, this is the Great Awakening. I mean, this is what we believe. You don't have to believe this, but this is what excites us. That this is the big transformation of consciousness. This is the waking up where we're moving out of being victims of circumstances, being our own worst enemy, fight and might, and ego and my way or the highway. And we're moving into that unity, that awakening, moving from the head into the heart, and learning how to be deliberate creators of our reality. Because you hear it, but sometimes it sounds too good to be true. You think, there's no way I create my reality. I mean, look at what a mess I'm making.
Right. Like sometimes, and you don't want to take credit for the way that life is, because you're like, well, look at all the things that are happening to me. I didn't create this. I didn't want this. And I'm focusing on me bloody vision board, Andy Dooley. How come my castle on the hill hasn't arrived yet?
Yeah. Yeah. And helping you. So in a moment, we're going to answer some of you guys' questions live. So if you do have questions, put them in there. This is a new platform for us, for me. So I do see the chat box. I do know.
Yeah.
Let me click invite. No, that's not the right button.
I think people have been working out the video situation, like refreshing has sorted out the situation. So that's good to know. Thank you, Amy and Tanya, for working it all out.
Yeah, and just so you know, Kat is in Australia, down under, and she's in the future. It's Wednesday morning there. Morning. And here I'm behind the times. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. It's only Tuesday.
But we're both in the now.
We are fully.
But we're in the now, Andy. We're sharing the present.
I love
moment.
that technology. Literally on the other side of planet Earth. There, you can see in my background, planet Earth there, and the tree of life there. Phenomenal. So yeah, there might be a delay or lag here and there, but we're lining in with the flow. So one of the things about planet Earth, and we all experience, and just to remind you, we signed up for this. I know. Well, this is what I believe. Mainly me, I believe we signed up for this. We wanted this time, space, reality experience. We're really source energy, divinity. We're the universe pretending to be human. And we wanted these experiences. We wanted the emotions. We wanted to know what coffee tastes like and what it's like to be happy, to be sad. We wanted to get caught up in the illusion of lack, limitation, and separation, and then work our way back to the light, work our way back to oneness. And that's what's happening now. That's why all the old crazy stuff is falling away. Oh, I've got a really great metaphor that people have found very helpful in kind of, because sometimes you have to step back and see the big picture, because we get so caught up in the details of life and war and famine and poverty and disease. And how can this be heaven on earth and people are creating the reality when there's all these extreme, horrific conditions happening? So would you like to hear this Amazon prophecy, Kat, and listeners?
Lay it on me, Andy Dooley.
Okay, so this is a prophecy that indigenous tribes have shared all around the world. And it comes from the Amazon tribe, literally like the Amazon in the Amazon, not Amazon.com. And in the Oshwar tribe has had this prophecy for thousands of years that the bird of humanity has been flying in circles for millennia because it only has one wing, the masculine wing. But since 2012, when we crossed that threshold of 2012, we're moving into the fourth dimension. When we cross the threshold of 2012, the bird of humanity has started to grow another wing. The divine feminine. And so finally, the bird of humanity is going to fly straight into a window. No. No windows. It's going to fly. And we are now the bird of humanity, waking up, the masculine, the feminine, moving from head to heart. So sometimes that perspective can be like, oh, okay, that's kind of can bring some relief of what the hell is going on planet Earth and why, it's now time to wake the F up.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important to remember that we did sign up for the adventure of this. We signed up for the forgetting of our unity, to subscribe to the variety. And although it can seem sort of brutal, it's also beautiful at times, right, as we unfold along the timeline. And there's something quite delicious about remembering who we are and picking up the crumbs along the trail. For everybody in the room right now who's joining us for Wake the F Up Live, I know that one thing that I know about you for sure is that you're very interested in growing yourself. And at some point on your journey, you started to pick up the little crumbs that you were like, wait, what? Like, I'm creating my reality, that the way that I think and the way that I feel really matters. And how enchanting that was and how fascinated you got with that. And then the books that you looked through and the seminars that you went to and the Andy Dooley t-shirt that you bought. There's so many sort of chapters in the unfolding. And what I love about the whole concept of being a part of a story, which really is what it is that it allows for you to have this bird's eye view of the story. We're being the hero in the journey. We're being the lead character in our own story. But then you can sort of have this bird's eye view for a minute, which is a bit like the observer effect in meditation, where you are actually observing from beyond, your story unfolding, and you can just enjoy all of it, the beauty and the brutality and every single thing in between.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. And sometimes that's what it requires. I was just talking with a client the other day, and she's so caught up in but how do we create reality? And there's so much suffering and pain. And what you're saying is that bigger perspective and putting it into the framework of the hero's journey, and you're a character in your own movie. And that can be hard to really believe if you've been ingrained in certain different thought modalities that said, no, that's not how life is.
Right. And yet there's a great liberation when you finally just join sort of subscribe to, well, what if I am a creator in this? Instead of just letting it happen to you, you actually start to be interested and start to notice that, if you leave a bad mood unchecked and you allow yourself to continue to react to the moments that are happening throughout the day, and really all that happened was you stubbed your toe on the way out the door, but you allowed that momentum to kick in, you can see how you influence reality. You can see how the day gets progressively unnecessarily worse. There is something about just actually observing our own movie for a minute, and you will soon realize that you're not just a victim floating around in the story, but rather you are the writer, the director, and you're also the lead character. It's a lot of gigs all at once, isn't it?
It's a lot of gigs, man. Woo! Yeah. And that momentum, that's another thing about that negative mindset. The one thing, it gets worse and then worse and worse, but also it can get better and better and better. That's why gratitudes and appreciations and little celebrations are so important. Something I do every week inside my membership online, the Manifestors Cafe, we're always doing exercises to get us focused on what's good, to get us seeing the good, feeling the good, celebrating the little wins, appreciating the little things, because then it can get better and better and better.
Totally. It's like, in the game of nowism, going to the thank bank, take yourself to the satisfactory, get a little bit of like a process on to get into a momentum of noticing what's working, what's working, what's working. Andy and I talk about this quite often, but it's quite phenomenal, really, how the fear campaign of humanity is so well financed and so well funded that it's so easy to get caught up in what's not working. Like our minds look towards what's not working. Therefore, if you don't have a practice like Nowism or vibration activation, like what Andy teaches, then it's highly likely that you will get swept up by the latest worst case scenario weather report. And that's why we love so much what we do, because we really create a momentum of, focus and flow towards the truth of what's really working, instead of just getting swept up and wasting, here's the real kicker, wasting the actual creative genius capacity in us to create reality. We're like sort of hemorrhaging our precious currency of our attention towards what's not working, therefore accidentally looping and recreating more of what's not working.
Yeah, it can be a vicious cycle. So I want everybody we're going to give you some tools to help you break out of that, because we all, even though I teach this stuff, I know there's times where I can slip in to victimhood, and that's not right, and this is working, and this is taking too long, and then all of a sudden, like, wait, I can feel that I'm out of alignment. I'm not feeling good. I'm not having fun anymore. And like the thing about focus and attention, I know Kat has some really great ways of looking at attention and focus, the currency of attention. So a tool. So if you're getting caught up in the negativity, the drama, you feel like it's getting harder. Here are some ways and tools that you can use to shift your energy. And tell us why focus and attention is so important, Kat.
Focus and attention is not just important, it is the most important, because it's actually the currency of the universe. Now, the great misconception here is that your money buys your life experiences, or your cryptocurrency gets you the good stuff, But really, what you are loaded and coded with is an unending stream of the great universal currency, which is your precious attention. Now, in the game of Nowism, I like to use a lot of like monetary terms, because it really makes a lot of sense. Like, your precious attention is buying your life's experiences. So you pay attention to things, you notice. And when you pay attention and you have some thoughts around it, if you have a lot of thoughts around it, then it becomes an investment. You start to really feel your investment in what you are noticing. Now, the reason why the currency is so important, the reason why your attention is so important, is because it is the sustained and maintained use of this currency that is one of the first stages of you creating reality, which speaks very much to the accidental, the spiritual malpractice of misusing your attention and actually accidentally looping on things that you don't want to see made manifest over and over and over again.
Brilliant. And with that, like, I know I've been caught in loops. And I remember years ago when I used to live in Orlando, Florida, I kind of went through my dark night of the soul and was, had relationship failure, business failure, after I had a lot of success. And I remember I started to loop. And even more currently, things have come up in my life where, you get into a negative funk, you get on what I call the bitch train, and it just compounds itself. And, one of the things I like to say is that focus, what you're focusing on or what you're putting your attention on, focus equals feeling. Like right now, if I said focus on all the horrible things in the world, within seconds, you'd feel like crap. If I said now focus on all the great things in the world, within seconds, you'd feel great. So focus equals feeling. And how you feel is how you're attracting, whether you realize it or not, how you're consistently feeling. And so I think one of the other things that's so vital that goes with attention and focus is we're really not paying attention to how we feel, or we're really not being honest with like, I'm really angry, or I'm really upset, or I'm really overwhelmed. And we kind of want to sugarcoat it and go, no, no, I'm positive. No, 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 it's all working out. And it's good to be optimistic, but be honest with how you're feeling, because underneath that negative feeling, there's a lie. There's a belief that you're telling yourself that's not in alignment.
Exactly. And I think that this is it's a really beautiful point that you're making, Andy, because look, we are the high vibe specialists. We are the ones who like to focus and flow our energy towards like the greater days. But there is a misconception in our industry of, it's high vibes only and it's happy thoughts. And, it can be a little bit like, too much like faking it until you're making it, instead of actually resting and truly noticing how you're feeling. Having a deep acceptance of the feeling is the first base for actually shifting it and lifting it. The problem with a negative feeling is that if you keep looping on it and looping on it, and it becomes a mood, and then it becomes a trait, and then it becomes like a personality.
Right.
Like there is a habit of focus and feeling that can become a problem. But the initial stages of a negative feeling is actually really great, because it's showing you it's actually your internal guidance system speaking to you. And I think that it's a really nice discernment here of like, even a negative feeling isn't necessarily bad. It just depends on what you do with it.
Right, what you do with it. And here's the thing, I do this with my clients and in the Manifestors Cafe. So a loving challenge or a tool you guys can use right now is just to remember that focus equals feeling, and how you feel is how you're attracting, and you're always in control of your focus. So that's why you have to take back your attention. You have to take back control, and it starts with focus and attention. And then when you're feeling a negative emotion consistently, right now I'm sure we've all got something going on, whether it's even frustration or overwhelm or an extreme fear or depression or rejection, ask yourself the simple question. It's so simple, it's ridiculous, but it reveals the belief, the thought that's creating the negative emotion. So you ask a question. I feel this way because. So I feel angry because.
It's so simple, yes, but it's genius.
And it's the word because, or why am I feeling this? Why or because? Well, it just opens up, and there's the like. Let's say you're overwhelmed. You say, I feel overwhelmed because I've got all these projects going on and I feel like I'm not making enough progress on all of them. So I'm pushing myself and I'm not up to speed with what's going on. I'm trying too hard. I'm doing too much. Oh, well, that's why I feel overwhelmed. Rather than just this, it's just mystery. It's like, no, I feel this way because, or why do I feel this way?
Right. It's really nice discernment, and it's a deep acceptance of part of the spectrum of being a human being. Like the thing is that in order to truly master your moments, you're going to have negative things arise, and whether you react or respond is really the key here. And what Andy is really sharing is just like a deep acceptance and a bit more of an exploration around why you're feeling what you're feeling, actually can take you through it a whole lot quicker than just spinning and thinking, I shouldn't be feeling like this. I should know better than this. I don't, like, sort of trying to cover up the feeling.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of energy sort of trying to dodge pain instead of just having it for a
minute.
Right.
Let's serve up some pain. You guys ready for some pain? Yes. We're going to answer a question because it ties into this. And you mentioned how a negative emotion repeated again and again starts to become your story, and then it becomes your identity, then it becomes your personality, and you think, oh, well, I'm always feeling this negative emotion, so therefore this is who I am. And no, you are not your emotions. Mm-hmm. You are not your emotions. We feel emotions, but that's not who you really are.
Yes.
Dr. Joe Dispenza has that quote. I love this quote. Your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality is made up of your dominant thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. And we start to identify with those negative thoughts or positive thoughts. I'm someone who's always happy and in a good mood. Or I'm someone who's, I'm jaded by life, or I'm upset by this, that, and the other. So realize you're not your emotions. Liberate yourself. you can look underneath the emotion anytime, any place, anywhere. Sit with it, feel it, honor it. Okay, I'm angry. Okay, I'm angry. Oh, I feel angry because. Write it down. I feel angry because. Look at it from different perspectives. And then you're going to find all the thoughts and beliefs that you're telling yourself that are making you angry. Then go, okay, well, how do I like to feel? Now, don't try to go from anger to total bliss or joy. Just as you know, work your way up the scale. Okay, anger. Let's go. Let's move our way up to annoyed or frustrated. Moving your way into a better feeling place, and then practicing those new thoughts. So now it's easier to get to a better feeling place.
Right, that's it. Lean deliberately in the direction of relief. Just lean a little bit, But it is so beautiful actually to accept the whole spectrum of the emotions and to allow yourself to work through it, And I feel like in the game of Nowism, there is a great tool for those moments where you're just really over yourself and you're like, it's like an SOS moment, like where you're just having a shit moment. And the SOS actually is an acronym for same old shit.
Yeah.
And so the SOS is just a statement that you create that allows for you to connect with the transitory nature of emotion instead of it like connecting with the eternal damnation of a bad feeling. And so for me, my SOS is, thank goodness this is temporary.
That's so good.
Yeah, and yeah, when you just like rest in the temporary nature of it, you can actually find relief in the fact that even though this is a really shit circumstance, situation, moment, feeling, thought, all the things, I know it in my bones that the chapter changes, like the moment passes. Thank goodness this is temporary. And what this is doing, it's not trying to ignore the fact that the feelings are arising, but you're really parking on the transitory nature of it, which is a really empowering use of the bad vibe, if you will. And so for those of you out there who feel like you get really frustrated with yourself, try your SOS statement and see how you go with that, and see if you can close the gap of how long you're having your spiritual tantrum for. Like you throw it, just you get over and done with. Throw your toys, throw them like you mean it, and then on your
yeah, your spiritual tantrum. I love it. Remembering it's temporary. It's temporary. It's going to change. It's one chapter. There's another chapter coming. All right, let's go to thank you guys for putting comments in the chat box. Pauline and I and Amy, Tanya. Omar is coming in from Colorado Springs. You rock. All right, so here's a question that someone submitted. Jill Moore, if you're out there. All right, Kat, I'm gonna give this one to you. Okay, a couple areas where there's room for improvement. Would love some wisdom. Okay, being a new empty nester, not feeling like me with my evenings and making healthy choices lonely. Need an activity to fill my time that I actually do, since I'm more of a morning person, and some accountability. Any suggestions for making better choices and changing my thoughts at night? I love my mornings and I'm great all day, but evenings and bedtimes could use some improvement.
Okay, cool. Ironically, you sort of paused for about 7 seconds there, but what the gist of what I heard here was that the individual who's asking the question is finding that their morning session is really quite great, but there is a loneliness, and in the evening session, as the body starts to relax, then the actual thoughts and feelings are starting to arise, and there is maybe a negative undertone there. I feel like one of the great things that we can do in the evening, and this is really common, by the way, like we start to really know how we're feeling when you let the body relax. Like as soon as you're sort of horizontal, or even just in front of on the couch, maybe you're watching a movie or something, when the body stops for a minute, that's when we sort of can really hear the thinking a whole lot louder. And so first of all, I want to just mention that this is not uncommon. But second of all, this is where to turn up the volume now of some practices that allow you to connect with belonging, actually, And so, as you know, like, okay, so for instance, in the game of Nowism, we have a tool where we wake up in a friendly universe. And the reason why we wake up in a friendly universe is that this is a context to live from. And what I want to offer the individual sharing with us today is like it might be really great to go to sleep in a friendly universe actually, and to feel beyond the story and the circumstances, the to-do list and all of the things, the achievements. We're very human doings these days. We like to get really obsessed with how much we've achieved, which is then it's a slack way of achieving our feeling of self-worth. And so I feel like as you start to rest, I really recommend sort of connecting with the non-physical part of you again, and to just acknowledge the greatness of your story, the movie that you're in. Acknowledge the wonderful like stream of intelligence that has happened through you today. You could possibly play with some magic in the mundane and really just look beyond the mundaneness of like the physical, the achievements, your to-do list, and actually connect with the awe-inspiring nature of the universe. And I feel like this has got to be really deliberate in the beginning. Like you actually have to really flex this muscle, because what we want to do is just relax, and when we relax, your default settings are trying to just take over, and maybe your default settings here are a level of aloneness or unworthiness or doubt or fear. Maybe this is sort of the energies that are arising. So I feel like a deliberate pointing in the direction of I am more than just this physical story that I'm in. I am more than just the things that I've done today, but rather that I am a part of a friendly universe. I am taking my part inside of this huge galactic story. And what this does, it allows you to just feel past the nowness of this little realm that we're in, and broaden your perspective. It's like larger, wider brush strokes to feel into the expansion of who you really are, instead of buying into the lie of the small story and your loneliness and your doubt and your fear. I hope that helps.
Good. Yeah, I agree with really, it's a muscle. You got to use that muscle. And this is for all of us, whether it's Jill who submitted the question, or you feeling like, because sometimes people feel like their evenings get out of just it slips away. I have an evening ritual of journaling or meditation, and listening to or reading something that's uplifting or inspiring. Another part that she mentioned is she's an empty nester, and she doesn't feel like she has the kids anymore. That might have glitched out, where she doesn't have that meaning or purpose.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I knew there was a missing piece. So this is a journaling exercise, Joe. This is about you identifying now with the new part of your role during this time in your life and in human history. And it's also really common, like when the children leave the home, there is a huge identity shift that takes place in the mom and in the dad, because like your role is just suddenly it's got what could feel like a downgrade. Like you literally are not quite as needed. You are still needed on that level, but it's different. Your kids are leaving the nest, and it's really exciting. It's also really heartbreaking. And so I want to acknowledge that this is creating space for you to really drop in and to really explore who you really are. Although that it's been amazing to take the journey of parenthood, I feel like there is another story. Right. And that other story is now asking for your precious attention. So you have to be super brave right now. You have to have the courage to go, okay, wow, that was amazing. Now what? And to be really gentle with yourself. It's time for you to catch up on all the hot baths and the pamper sessions that you really have surrendered in service to your amazing family all of this time. It's time for you to actually turn your eye within and to start looking at you again. And, I want to acknowledge and honor the level of service that you've been in for so long, like what, 15, 16, 17, 18 years. Like, it's absolutely phenomenal. And you deserve an award, but now is the time where this space is now being created. There is a gap now for you to actually refocus and look within and to actually start to cultivate the new story of what is the next chapter of your evolution look like? What are the gifts and talents in you that are wanting to express? Like, I don't know if you know this, show, but your story's not over. In fact, it's just beginning. You're more qualified now to be excellent than you ever have been because of all the things you went through parenthood. There is something really wonderful that you have to offer now. And so your job is to really drop in and connect with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really exciting. And looking at it, framing it that way, and what Kat said, it's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity. It's a new chapter, writing into that. And for anybody listening, I'm sure you don't have to be an empty nester, but you could still be like, okay, I want to quit this job, or I'm moving to a new location. Maybe you just went through a divorce. You've gone through a big change.
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, it's a scary world. There's technology. And, you grew up in a completely different world than the world is now with AI and technology. And just be like, yes, I'm infinite intelligence in a physical body. I have access to divine guidance and support, and just really reconnect with that bigger part of you. The guidance, the information, the answers are all there. Tune in, listen, do the self-care hot baths like Kat said.
Yeah, and you know what? If you can't get excited, like you don't have access to the upper echelon of the vibrational atmosphere, I want to recommend that you just announce to your universe that you're listening and that you're ready, and that you would like for it to speak to you in a language that you understand about the next logical steps for you. Like there is a heartbreak here, and it's really natural that whenever there is a plot twist in our lives, whenever there is a great change, we lose something, or there is something that is a great transformation, there is a breakup with who you've been while you're actually breaking into who you're going to be. But there's this sort of liminal space. It's very uncomfortable. It's part of the brutal part of being a human. It's like, oh my God, why would I sign up for this shitstorm? But it's really, but once we get there, once we get through this gritty phase, we tend to just rise up in an absolute reverence for all of the chapters. And so, Joe, you're super brave, and I wish you all the best in all the things.
Yeah, like I want to the identity, because that you touched on what, because let me answer the why this can be so hard, and you said it, but I want to go on deeper, because we're all transforming. We want to hold on to who we were and how it was, but it doesn't work. We all have to up level, and we get attached to our identity and who we were. I was mommy, I was daddy, I was a CPA, I was and it's like, okay, there's something more magical for me. I've got to trust. I've got to step into it easy. I don't have to figure it all out right now. That's the beautiful. I'm just going to,
Right.
little, I'm going to feel my way. It'd be nice if I worked with, go general. I would, cool if I work with, like you could even do that's right. That's right. I'm ready for my next chapter. That's right. I like, and just mention the things you like and feel what it would be like to find the new thing. Even if you don't know what it is, feel what it would be like to find this that leads to that leads to this. And like, tell the story. This led to that, led to this. And all of a sudden I was with this new thing, doing this fun thing. And it's like, oh, all the pieces of who I was before came together to create this new thing. Just feel that.
Right.
Feel that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something so fascinating about the way that we operate. And this is something that I talk to my husband about quite often. Ryan, who works in film and stories and Hollywood, like big stories. And, we love to talk about how fascinating it is that when you go to the movies and you watch a really good film, There are chapters in the story where the lead character has some sort of meltdown or gets lost or broken, or there's a great fear, the back's against the wall, they don't know how they're going to get out of it, they're freaking out, and then they've got to face something, they've got to change something, they've got to lift something. Like there is some sort of transformation that takes place, and then as they come out of this darkness and they grow their wings, and it's phenomenal. And we love these stories so much when there's this unexpected plot twist where someone had to like face something and become the hero in the story. Yet in our own lives, we prefer a really boring, freaking predictable story where there's no plot twist and nothing too uncertain, because we have this high value on safety. We have a high value on predictability and the known. And so then when there's a plot twist, or when there's a scene change, or when the kids leave, or you lose the job, or you burn the house down, everything about you is like, no, like, I don't want to be in a great story. And you can't even imagine that it's a great story even.
Right.
Like, you're just like having the meltdown, you know. So this is that whole piece about like being in the bird's eye view of your story, and just remembering that there are initiation chapters that must take place, that there are meltdown situations that must take place in order for you to activate your dormant superhero powers. The universe has to push you into a place, a space of discomfort, so that you actually throw yourself forwards into the unknown. Now, unfortunately, pain pushes us more than vision pulls, which is a great quote by the Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, that pain pushes us. And so next time you find pain pushing you, next time you find your back's against the wall and you're wondering what the actual F, please take a moment and just ask yourself, oh my goodness, is this that plot twist chapter where suddenly I'm being initiated and I'm going to have a meltdown, but then I'm going to grow my wings? Just have a little bird's eye view on that.
Yes, growing your wings, going through, the hero's journey. And just, if you don't know the hero's journey, that's fine. But like, you've seen it in all the movies, and you love, like, the movie didn't have that dramatic plot twist and breakdown and all is lost, and a certain death, whether it's emotional or physical, is being faced. You don't rise to the occasion and discover who the F you are. It is time to wake the F up.
Right. It seriously is. And this is where, accepting the full spectrum of the contrast as the game design. The game is designed for you to get hungry and then for you to eat a delicious meal. Like, that is the design. Like, you are meant to not have and then have the havingness. And the victory of the havingness cannot be felt without the not havingness and the ache of that. And so when we enter into this game and we have a deep acceptance of the game design, that there is the ups and the downs, there is the this and the that, there's the hot and the cold, there's the light and the dark. When we just fully accept this, instead of like resisting it, then what happens is you become more of a cooperative component to the game design. You're able to surf the waves and like a boss, and even though you might get thrown down and tumble around for a little minute, at least it'll be over soon, and you'll get up and you'll keep moving.
Yes, and then you'll be on the other side of it. Like, get into the feeling now of, yes, this is what I'm going through, and yes, I'm gonna get through this. I'm going to get on the other side. That's right. I can figure this out. That's right. I'm being guided and supported. That's right. I love the contrast and the gifts it's bringing me. That's right. I am becoming the hero of my story. I can do this one day at a time, one thought at a time.
So good.
I don't have to figure it all out right now. It's unfolding for me. I'm going to go take a hot bath. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to be nice to myself. Yes. Like, then it just shows up. Wow.
Yes. So good. And this is the difference between being the victim in the story or being the creator. See, the creator is actually still surfing the waves of contrast, understanding, okay, I'm a little bit of a tricky chapter right now, but at least I'm going to surf it consciously. At least I'm going to participate deliberately. At least I'm going to throw my toys like I mean it. And then you will actually find your way through to the other side. Your drama will be shorter. The drama would be far shorter than, prolonging the idea of, oh my God, this is happening to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I got another question, and it made me think of a really cool metaphor. Are you guys in the chat box? I love what you're putting in and sharing, so keep the chat going. Um, Throw your toys, have it, embrace it, and it's over sooner. And so there's a big difference between cows and buffaloes. If you haven't heard this is really great. One of those metaphors. Okay, so if the cows are out in the pasture and the buffaloes are out in a pasture, they're in different pastures, and a big thunderstorm is coming towards the cows and the buffaloes, the cows feel and see this thunderstorm coming, and they get panicked and they start running away from it. But as they're running away, the storm is chasing them, and so they stay in it longer. Bless those cows. But the buffaloes, when they know a storm's coming, they go into the storm. They embrace the storm. And because they go into the storm, now the storm passes over them, and it's much shorter for them. So the moral of the story is, be a buffalo.
Not a cow. Wow, that's fascinating. I never heard that before. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, here's another question for you, Kat. This comes from Janice Heller. Sometimes, with all the negative news and the scary, feelings that go with the negative news and life challenges, it's not easy to believe all will work out. I keep working on ways to start the day and even throughout the day to balance, but I'm not always successful. Any suggestions?
Absolutely. Number one, got to turn off the mediocrity. Turn it off. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Okay, we say we want to be informed, but your interest and your investment is creating an emotional uprising in your being. Your focus is creating the feeling, right? So if the feeling isn't activating something beautiful in you, I'd be really mindful, especially if you're trying to manifest or deliberately create a new momentum in your life. Now, so we've got this mediocrity. We've got this broadcast of fear. We're all involved in this time in human history where it's coming through, news feeds and magazines and TVs. It's not even on billboards. It comes out of your partner's mouth, like it's a little bit special. But the truth is that if you had to make a list of what's not working compared to what is working, you're going to run out of paper for the what is working. There is a grace and a spectrum of brilliance and beauty that is taking place, and it is evenly distributed. The miracle and the orchestration of the living intelligence, the fact that your heart beats and that your eyes blink and that your hair grows and that the breath that you take and your cells duplicate, like you are an automated miracle. And if you would rather feel the feelings of the expansion and the sweetness and the goodness and the glory, you simply got to get more interested in it. And I hate to say it, but if it bleeds, it leads. Mediocrity, fear campaigns. It's very sexy during this time in human history to be sad, and so, Andy and I are doing our best to try and make positivity lovely again. But, the truth is that there is a great movement on this planet about what's not working. Meanwhile, audaciously, the miracle is evenly distributed, but it's waiting for your precious attention. And so I would recommend actually that you disengage and deliberately. I would do a media fast for 2 weeks and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Actually turn off all of the devices just for 2 weeks, just to show yourself what happens when you get more interested in harmony, in grace, in flow, in rhythm, and just all of the sweetness that's taking place. Go and sit in the garden and watch a bee do the rounds pollinating the plants. Or if you're in Colorado and it's freezing over, like Andy, then go outside and enjoy the absolute astonishingly sweet beauty that is taking place. What I love about life is that the miracle is relentlessly expressing, but you are free will. And you can tune into the miracle or you can tune into the madness, actually. And the only thing that changes is you. You can stand in the midst of a shitstorm of an argument in with people and actually notice a butterfly that's flying past and actually have a gracious experience in the nowness of the moment of the chaos that's around you. We can operate independently from the circumstances. And so I really want to recommend that you use the weapon of mass attraction for your highest good and actually just try turning it off for a minute, meaning the mediocrity, and actually take an interest in the sweetness. Get really invested in the higher frequencies and just do it for a little bit of time so that you don't feel like you're being an alien in amongst your family or whatever. And you're like, marching into eternity, oblivious of what's going on the planet. But rather, this is about your own systems of energy. Get interested in peace and harmony. See what happens.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that desire to feel good and to know like this is such a good thing because you will feel. I love that, Kat, of like go on a media diet for 2 weeks. I've done it. I don't watch the news anymore, and you so much quicker feel different. You feel lighter, and some people have to go on vacation and get away to really do this, and it can be challenging. But man, when you get the negativity out of your life, you can feel your energy rise, and you have to be deliberate, intentional about wanting to feel good. Nothing is more important than feeling good. That's how you become a deliberate creator. You have to take back your attention and focus. Really great, really great.
I have one more thing to offer on that, actually. My teacher, Reverend Michael, one thing that he does, and this is sort of back in the day when newspapers were still around, but I imagine it's still the same for the news feed, is that he would open up the newspaper and be like, okay, let's look at the prayer requests for today. And so he would use it as an opportunity to send love to the circumstances and the conditions and the demonstrations of separation. And so then the story that you tell about how you're responding to the news is really the task at hand. Like maybe that's an assignment for you to actually send love and to respond as the offset to the traumas in the world instead of joining it.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I see that negativity. I see what's happening. Let me be, let me be the change. Let me be the light. Let me be the love. Let me be, yeah. It starts with you. All of this, it all comes back to us. The story we're in, the story we're telling. Everybody's an actor in our movie. Everybody's another version of you. And we're coming into the home stretch and starting to wrap this up. From victimhood to being the creator, and the different tools that we shared of focus and intention and telling a different story. Kat, do you want to have some final words of encouragement from going from victim thinking to being the creator of your story, being the hero of your movie?
Yeah, there is one big, fat, glorious statement that we use in the game of nowism over and over and over, and that is you don't get what you want in this life. Ultimately, you get what you're being. You get what you're most interested in. So be interested in the energies of the answers. Give undivided attention to possibilities instead of problems. And then watch how your story starts to change. But play the game. Let this be a 4-week experience, a 12-week experience where you really go all in. Because once you see and demonstrate to yourself your own power, you'll never turn back. You'll never turn back.
You will never. There is no going back. Like you said at the beginning, you know too much. There's no going back to the old ways. You were born to create. You were born to laugh and love. And you can just feel now the energy's moving faster. And you can feel when you start to go negative or you're around negative people. You can feel the glitch. The cat says you're glitching. Right. And, a phrase I'll leave you with, it's kind of like a mantra about getting yourself into that energy of being the creator. And it's a very general, simple saying that I like to use. I've used it for years. And that is to say, I'm focused, flowing, and feeling good. Even if you're not 100% there, I'm focused. I'm focused on what I want. I'm focused on being the creator. I'm focused on the good. I'm focused. I'm flowing. What are you flowing? I'm flowing source. I'm flowing divinity. I'm bringing it in. I'm being the light and the love. I'm focused, flowing, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm looking for the gifts. I'm focused, flowing, and feeling good. I'm focused. Say that several times when you wake up in the morning. Before you go to bed at night, a simple phrase I got from Bashar to say, like tonight, everybody, before you go to bed, tell yourself, this comes from Bashar, I am who I am, and that's enough. I am who I am, and that's enough. Because we put so much pressure on ourselves to be, do, have, faster, quicker, bigger. Just I am who I am, and that's enough. I'm going to sleep great tonight, and tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up refreshed. Then you wake up in the morning, you say, I'm focused, flowing, I'm feeling good. Today's going to be a good day. Today I'm going to make the best of everything. Today I'm bringing the light, the love, because this is the great awakening, and it is time to wake the F up.
Boom.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much for all of your insights today, Andy. I'm really excited to be in the podcast lane with you. And for you guys out there who are in our live today, please spread the word. We're going to be doing our sessions every it's Tuesday, Wednesday in the now, but we're going to be live, and it's really great fun to have you guys in the live audience. So if you have questions, if you have topics, whatever it is, there's nothing is taboo here too. If you just want to know what Andy's had on his sandwich this morning, that's a great question. Anything goes.
Yeah, so that's a show. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, share it with a friend. We love you. Let's keep creating the good vibes, mastering our state of being, and making the best of everything.
If you want to know more about the great Andy Dooley and the Manifestors Cafe, you can check the links below. If you would like to know more about the game of Nowism and building that toolbox for your consciousness, then check us out. We'll see you there.
Woohoo!
Yeah, baby.